Thinking about selling or letting your home? With Maxwell Estates, you don't need to look any further. Well established with over 15 years of experience, Maxwell Estates are specialists in residential sales and lettings. We manage over 200 properties in and around Northwest London, keeping our landlords and tenants updated with all the latest laws and legislations. Based in Edgware, our experienced specialist negotiators always ensure we maximize the full potential of your property.
All my brothers never fear death and they've been ready to meet God. If you die for the cause, pray Allah protect the King Squad. Just because we humble to the heart, that don't mean we don't go hard. All you think about is money, but nobody taking nothing to the graveyard. We ain't taking nothing to the grave, not a dollar to the grave, yeah. I learned it from Hassan, yeah. You numb the pain with the money, me, I numb the pain when I pray, yeah. My cousin took his own life, fell victim of the suicide lane. Honest and jolly, I admit I was bad, but I'm not afraid to tell you that I do have a past. Like everyone has. All the kids are going crazy, parents losing control, cause the music in the industry is ruining their soul. They can't relate to no shame. No, I'm not a Shia, but a Sunni, but I still rock a Dhulfikar.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Drive Time with the Dream Team in-house and all locked and loaded and ready to go with an action-packed show, mashallah. So the a response from everyone was great about this show, so it should be interesting. As usual, the lines will be open, Facebook Live is open, YouTube's open. So get on Facebook Live. I've got my Facebook Live here in front of me, so anyone's comments that are going to be coming in, we're going to get those logged in and ready to go. So without any further delay, firstly, I'm going to introduce my fellow comrades of the Dream Team. So firstly, Brother Wasati, Assalamu alaikum.
Wassalam. How you doing, bro? Muz, everything good?
Good.
MashaAllah, Ramadan Mubarak to everyone.
MashaAllah.
Even though it's a weekend, bro.
he's an Ashra in.
He's getting his Ramadan gains in. That's good. Brother Abdul Halim, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
How's things with you, man? How's the teacher doing today?
Alhamdulillah, bro.
Tough day at the job?
It was a tough day, man. It was a tough day, but you know what? It's all good.
Alhamdulillah.
No complaints.
So how's Ramadan going, lads? Talk to me. 11th today?
Yeah,
11th
time's
day.
flying, bro.
What is
That's
going
it.
on?
You know what? That's the way it is every year. Before you know it, it's over.
Bro, you know sometimes before Ramadan you're like, oh, I'm not ready.
Yeah.
Especially I'm not there. You know, you get all these excuses coming in. Oh, I need to prepare. I need to do this. I need to do that. I'm not ready. And then you get scared, thinking, am I going to be able to do well in Ramadan?
And then all of a sudden, shaitan's locked up, and that's it. It just makes it so much easier.
That's
just the way
so
that
much easier.
This is it. Your salahs are easier. You're focused. You're driven. You know, with Revive FM's on the air.
Yeah,
you know, you're on it. You're on it, and you think, you know, subhanallah. And before you know it, the time's just flying every day.
That's exactly how it is. That look, we're in the second portion already, and before we know it, it's going to be over. So yeah, everyone, let's try to make the most of it, especially ourselves.
Exactly. Inshallah.
Definitely.
So guys, as ever, we have an action-packed show. So let me give the agenda to all the listeners out there. What's going to happen? So firstly, obviously, as usual, we're going to have our little banter to set the mood, to get everyone, you know, happy as they're driving home from work today. That's a little drive time. So as they're coming home, so we will get everyone into the zone. Then inshallah, we're going to get serious. What's going to happen? We've got Brother Omar in the reception waiting for him to come on from Gardens of Peace. So he's going to come on, talk about, you know, what's next for Gardens of Peace, what's happening, what schemes they've got in place. So that is going to be, I'm sure, a very deep, interesting conversation to have with him. So guys, whoever wants to have any comments about Gardens of Peace or the cemetery, or want to put any questions to Brother Omar, please put them now on the Facebook Live, and we will be sure to read them out for you as well, inshallah. Then after that, we're going to have an interesting topic that we're going to discuss that I've put out, jinns or depression. So that's what I'm going to leave to you. So, you know, I'm sure Weiss is all geared up, ready to go for that topic.
There's a lot to say on there.
Yeah, a lot to say,
on that.
a lot of taboo discussions to have. This topic can go either way. So let's see what will happen with that, inshallah. So we will have that discussion, and then as usual, we will close the show. So getting straight into it, there's a certain challenge out there, Brother Owas, that has been set and it looks like it's picking up speed all of a sudden.
That's it,
You know,
definite.
As I was coming here, I didn't want to do it, yeah, but I had to make a promo and send it out.
Bro, you're the one. Bro,
I
you're
don't
the
know
one.
why I'm boosting it for
year,
myself.
every year, you're the one that sets the challenges. This time it's
That's it, bro.
switched. That's it. It's come on.
This
you.
has
So,
backfired.
You're
on
gonna
me.
get a taste
Big
of your
time.
own medicine this year.
Exactly. This has seriously backfired on
Yeah.
me in on a bigger scale, because firstly I thought, okay, I'm gonna sneak in a challenge to Ish Seti because I have to always
That's
get
it.
him.
That's
I have to
it.
always
Yeah,
get
yeah,
him.
I thought, yeah,
But
that's
all of
it.
a sudden he, no one can mess with Ish Seti. That is why he does debate night. That is why he does debate night. He's reversed it back onto me and said, well, hold on a second, let's get Muz duped into it, and he's getting his revenge now.
Bro,
But
how's your
you know what?
preparations going?
Preparations. The only preparations, brother Was, that is going well is my suhoors. They are on point. They are on point. People that I've seen on Facebook recently putting my suhoors up, on point, mate. You know, a bagel, avocado, you know, honey, and kajur. That is what I'm not gonna lie.
Is
I'm
that
not
what's
lying.
going on? Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen them. I've seen pictures of them. They do.
And you
they
know
look
what?
do look appetizing.
You know what? It is really nice. You know, I managed to make a nice dip out of the avocado, and I'm quite impressed with it. I thought
But-
it's a decent suhoor, man.
Is it full? Is it filling?
It is. It is surprisingly filling. So that comes down to Brother Awas now. If you remember on our first show,
Yeah, he
there
did,
was a
yeah.
certain challenge laid out to Brother Awas that from Monday until Wednesday he will be doing a suhoor. I know you're listening as well. Did that happen, Brother Awas? All honestly.
Bro, you know,
What do you mean,
bro,
bro?
no, let me tell you how it is. Yeah, look, no one chased me up about it. I was waiting for the diet plan. Did you say or did you not say you're gonna send me the diet plan?
The picture was there.
Bro,
Your
wait,
wife
no,
was-
no, no, one second.
Your wife was briefed.
No,
Everything was good.
But you told me you were gonna send me that diet plan. You didn't send it to me, so
is
I
it-
didn't
is
do
it
it.
like that? Is it
That's
like
it.
that? Okay,
Bro,
no
you should-
problem. No problem. There's still time. There's still time. You know what? Brother Wes, compared to what he used to be, he's in great shape. He's doing
is
all right. He's doing
much
well.
better
He's
shape.
playing his football. He's doing well. But you know what? I want you to get onto that suhoor for at least a day or two. So
Yeah,
we
Tika.
need to consider.
You know what?
that.
You need to send it to me. I don't know what to do. What to eat. You need to send it to me.
100%. I'm going to send you a diet plan by the end of today.
So
And
that's your
inshallah,
suhoor?
That's my suhoor.
What's your iftar like?
Iftar's not bad as well. Iftar is not bad. I mean, because you know what it is, we live a very fast-paced lifestyle.
Yeah.
So I'm always clients, whatever.
On the
and,
move, yeah.
On the move. So it's very difficult to have a settled iftar.
Yeah.
But like yesterday, I had quite a nice iftar with the dad as well, so that was quite nice. But it's in moderation. So if I'm having an iftar which is out the diet plan, it's within moderation. But if it's
What's within moderation, bro?
nice small portions, isn't it? Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
You know me now, innit? Come on. And when it's like at home, grilled chicken rice, man. That's it. That's what we're having.
Yeah, you know
What's
what?
important
How
business,
do you
bro?
do it? How do you do it? Like,
I don't know how. I don't
you're
know
doing it every day, and it's
Yeah.
not just in Ramzan. You're doing
Yes.
it like
Yes.
you're doing it throughout. I don't know how you
Yeah,
do it.
I mean,
bro.
look, food, and obviously all that. I feel there's a long way to go, you know, in terms of what you want to achieve with your body and whatever. Inshallah, this Sunday will help me achieve something if
That's
I'm going to get through
So tell
10K.
us.
Yes.
Tell us about this Sunday.
Oh my goodness.
No, so you know what? How
Yes.
much do you actually do any running first of all?
do I do running?
Yeah,
in general.
as in, you know what? You get on the treadmill and you know I want to think. You
Yeah,
think, you know what? I want to run a couple of miles.
I mean, Halim here will back me that when you're going in for a weight session,
Yeah.
you try to do a bit of 10-minute warm up. Yeah, 10-minute, 15-minute warm up.
Yeah.
That's it. So
That's right.
that's probably a kilometer. Probably a kilometer.
Kilometer.
That's all I can probably like. I can manage easily a kilometer. So we
You can manage it easy, yeah?
So I'm going to do 10 of those.
Yeah.
I'm going to do 10 of those. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see.
and
what
while you're
happens on
fasting
Sunday.
as well.
Yes, absolutely. While I'm fasting as well, so interesting. But guys, as you know, a lot of listeners are tuning in. That inshallah, the run or the event or the fundraiser will take place from 6 p.m. this Sunday, right?
This Sunday,
A
yeah.
promo that has been sent out by me has already been sent out, and inshallah, it's more promos will be sent out.
Yeah.
But the caption of this is that only 50 people need to donate £100 each. So as long as that is achieved,
Yeah.
it looks like the way I'm going, I'm gonna have to do it either way.
You're gonna
This
do
way
it.
is-
You're gonna do it,
So
but
I'm gonna be
inshallah-
doing it anyway. But inshallah, as long as we get 50 people to donate £100 each,
Yeah.
we are on course to achieve what we need to achieve. But obviously, why am I so passionate about this? You know, why have I accepted this and I'm fully on board with this challenge? You know, it's Revive FM. what has Revive FM achieved? Mashallah, you can see the presenters that are coming through now, new presenters, talented presenters that I would never imagine that have walked through the door, and mashallah doing a great job, and looking forward to having them on the full-time radio. A lot of people are messaging me now and saying, oh, Revive FM, is this a full-time radio? Oh wow. So it's creating the right hype. We're looking forward to it. We're having some meetings tonight to take Revive FM hopefully to the next level. So in order to do that, we need the resources. So inshallah, we need everyone's support. I'm going to get Brother Zaheb to put our station manager to put some links out, to put some messages out, to get those donations in. So if he maybe pins the details of the donations up on our Facebook chat, we'll get people to start donating in. So the more we can get, the more that this will happen, inshallah.
So yeah, inshallah. You know what? This £5,000 you're saying that inshallah we're appealing for. What is that money going to go towards? How is it going to further help Revive FM?
Look, Revive FM right now, the costs are, look, whoever walks into the studio, as I said, every time I sit down, it gives me goosebumps because I've seen where the studio was to where it's come now. So you can look, just start with the actual look of this place. The costs that are associated to achieve this, you can imagine they're quite high. Then obviously we want to get Revive FM out there. We want to make it a community radio station that people see it as their true voice. So see it as their platform to raise their voices, to raise their debates, concerns, whatever they want to do. This is their platform. So in order to make this platform known, you need to do a lot of advertising. You need to do a lot of branding. You need to do a lot,
especially when it's a startup.
Exactly. So startup. So there's huge costs associated. This £5,000 technically is probably just a very small percentage.
Probably a drop in the ocean.
Exactly.
But we'll go a very long way as well.
We've got a very long way. So obviously it will obviously help towards. We have to come up with challenges and initiatives to motivate our listeners out there to get on board and help us. But it's a drop in the ocean. Obviously, we are looking towards advertising. We are looking towards further sponsorship to get this up and running. But inshallah, we'll get there. But there is a long way to go. But we will get there, inshallah.
So, have you got a location yet of where you're going to be doing the run? Where you're starting, where you're ending, or
wait 1 second. Let's see. You know what? This is how it's going to be. Look. The whole thing is going to be on Facebook Live.
I just love it. Weiss' confidence. Weiss' confidence.
You know what?
When things are just geared off these setties.
Bro, everyone, you know what? Everyone's waiting to see you suffer, bro. It's been too long. You've been palming it off, bro. You've been palming it off here, palming it off there. You know what? You do this challenge. You do this challenge. It's about time. It's about time.
I get it.
So inshallah, the whole thing's going to be on Facebook Live, on YouTube Live. So everyone will be able to see from start to finish. Everyone will be able to see him suffer.
Do you think he's ready?
He's not ready. He's not ready at all.
No way.
You know what? He's got a few days. He's got a few days to prep up. But Irfan, the guy that's going to be doing it with him, he can smash it. He's been doing marathons and half marathons. He does like every
10 kilometers. He does like like you say to Ish, come Ish. We're going out for chicken burger meal, and Ish will have 5-6 casually, just a snap of the finger, 5-6, no problem, And obviously, brother Irfan, for him, a 10-kilometer race is an absolute walk in the park.
So you're gonna have to keep up with him. You're gonna have to keep up.
For me, it's the motivation. It's the motivation. I've got that person there to motivate me, to drive me. Every time I'm feeling like, oh, that's it, I'm going. He's gonna be telling me off, motivating me, and
dragging you along.
Obviously, let's be fair. Is the setties are gonna be there in full force to
that's it,
give me inspiration.
We're gonna put a samosa. We're gonna be hanging a samosa in front of you.
Oh no, that doesn't motivate me. So you can do that. You can do that. It's not a problem. So inshallah, we will go there. Anam Seti has said, look, diet plans for Awais is difficult because he just loves these samosa and pakore. So it's coming out now. It's coming out now. But we want to see. Anam, you got to work with him. We want to see at least 1 or 2 days that he's on the diet. But in terms of myself, the location, as far as I've been told, potentially what we're looking towards, that we're going to get a couple of treadmills and we'll be doing it in the studio. So therefore there's no cheating by Muz. There's no running away. There's no diverting. There's no Uber trips. There's no cab trips. Nothing like that can happen. Muz will have to suffer, right here in front of you guys. So this is the plan. I've spoken to Irfan. I think he's going to arrange 1 treadmill, so we've got that sorted. We
Yeah.
need 1 more. Anyone out there that wants to give us a treadmill, give us a treadmill. We'll make this happen. So yeah, 2 treadmills will be in the waiting room.
Yeah.
You'll do all the filming. You guys are the experts. You'll know how we're gonna do it. So yeah, we'll get that going, and then inshallah we will make this happen.
Inshallah.
the
Brilliant.
donations need to come
Looking forward to it. So that's this Sunday
Yes.
at 6 o'clock. Everyone's going to be tuning in as well. So yeah,
Exactly.
let's see how you go, bro. And I'm sure you'll
But
do
guys,
well.
just
You'll
see
do
like
well.
this. Just see like this. Obviously, if I said to someone out there, I'm sure there is someone out there that's able to donate the £5,000. Of course there is. That shares the same vision and passion as us 3 guys. Why do the Self-Made Dream Team do this on a year-by-year basis? And your dream team, inshallah, will be doing this on a full-time basis as well. Why are we doing it so passionately? Why us 3 guys get together and plan these shows on a constant basis? Because the love for this platform, the love for this vision of what we're going to achieve is so great. And I'm sure there's someone out there that shares this vision, that sees what we are trying to do here and can see the potential of what this will develop, that are willing to donate. But obviously that's one person. But from there, we've made it even more easier. All we're saying is that we need 100 individuals to donate. No, 50 individuals,
50
only 50
yeah.
individuals to donate £100 each. That is nothing. That is nothing. So guys, get that in. You can see, look, I know I'm going to suffer. I know I'll probably get injured as well because it is a tough ask. But you know what? It's for Revive FM. So we need everyone's donations as quick as possible. We need all your support as possible. And inshallah, we will make this happen. So guys, inshallah, that will cut off the Revive FM. What we'll do now is we're going to literally take a 2-minute break and we are joined. Brother Omar is currently waiting for us in the reception. We're going to get him in the studio and we're going to start our Gardens of Peace segment. As always, stay tuned in on Facebook Live. Start getting your comments and questions in now. And any points or any questions, or you can even call us. I'll get Brother Zahib. Brother Zahib, if you can make sure the number's on there as well. So if the number's on there as well, you can call in and have a chat with Brother Omar as well. So guys, keep listening to Revive FM. We'll be back shortly after this.
Brothers never fear death and they've been ready to meet God. They finna die for the cause, pop, pop, pray Allah protect the Dean Squad. Just because we humble to the heart, that don't mean we don't go hard. All you think about is money, but nobody taking nothing to the graveyard. We ain't taking nothing to the grave, not a dollar to the grave, yeah. Live to give, man, I learned it from Hassan, yeah. You numb the pain with the money, me, I numb the pain when I pray, yeah. My cousin took his own life, fell victim of the suicide lane. All the sin and jahiliyyah, I admit I was bad, but I'm not afraid to tell you that I do have a past, like everyone has. All the kids are going crazy, parents losing control, cause the music in the industry is ruining their soul. They can't relate to no shit. No, I'm not a Shia, but a Sunni brother, still rock a Dhulfikar. Still about the unity, if you don't like it, I don't really care at all. Fell in love with an Arab girl, I got so attached, but her father don't accept me only cause I am black. Is that really Islam? Yeah, can't deny the community turn racist. Man, I swear to God, there's so much separation. I know a lot of converts and they say they wanna leave, left out including me during Ramadan and Eid, yeah. These Muslim teens, they crying out for help from depression, and we never talk about their mental health, yeah. Deary man, we fed up with this. Every single drummer, all the hope is son irrelevant, I'm sorry. Strict parents got their children in the headlock. You wonder why these sisters taking their hijab off. Young kids committing zina left and right, cause you make the marriage difficult, you're ruining their life. For all my brothers in the trap who ain't leave yet, Muslim brothers in the bin who ain't free yet. If they ain't got no money, they a reject. That's why they turn to the streets for that respect. All my brothers never fear death and they been ready to meet God. They finna die for the cause, pop, pop, pray Allah protect the Dean Squad. Rest in peace to all my dead brothers, may Allah give them Jannah. I'm sending all my love and my prayers out to the people down in Burma. Shout out to my Dista. Shout out to my Dista. Yeah. D-Squad.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Drive Time. Mashallah, we are back and inshallah we are joined with Brother Omar from Gardens of Peace as well, and the Dream Team's also locked in and ready to go. Guys, to let everyone know, make sure Facebook Live is active, is live. Get on there, get those questions. There's already a few people that have given me questions that I'm going to pose to Brother Omar as well, so we will discuss those as well. But anyone that wants to raise any comments or any questions to Brother Omar from Gardens of Peace, this is truly a great opportunity, because we know that what the work Gardens of Peace are doing is truly commendable. So anyone that has any comments or questions, please do get onto Facebook Live. I've got it right open in front of me. Pose your questions now, and inshallah I will pose them to Brother Omar as well. So to give guys a brief, we've joined with Brother Omar, who is one of the founders of Gardens of Peace, and Gardens of Peace is one of the very few Muslim cemeteries based in Essex that has also been awarded the best cemetery in UK, right?
That's right.
MashaAllah. So first of all, I'm going to welcome Brother Omar. Brother Omar, assalamu alaikum, how are you?
Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm fine, alhamdulillah.
Ramadan's going good, everything's fine?
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Unfortunately, Malikul Maut is not gone on holiday, so we are very busy.
They don't lock they don't lock him up, do
No,
they?
they don't lock him up, unfortunately. So it's busy, but
Yeah.
alhamdulillah, we can't complain. Alhamdulillah. It's life is all about death and birth, so we have to continue, alhamdulillah.
Absolutely. But Omar, with Gardens of Peace, always this, question arises that what was your vision when you first had this vision that, okay, we want to set up Gardens of Peace, how are we going to do this, what's going to happen, fundraising, what went through your mind when you thought, okay, as a working professional, as a fellow accountant, right, you said to yourself, okay, accountancy's there, this is what I want to do. What made you trigger that?
What made me trigger was very simple, is that we were basically the first generation here. All our forefathers and all our previous people managed to hold mosques, build community centers, but none of us thought about building or providing a cemetery for Muslims in accordance with our faith. And that was the vision of it. So I said, if I die, my sons are not going to allow me to be shipped back home or wherever it is, and I wouldn't want that as well.
Yeah.
But there was no decent place that I could be buried, and I could feel happy that no, at least I'm buried in accordance with our faith. So that was the vision. And the vision was just to say, okay, fine, let's set up a cemetery. There were 6 of us. We tried to set up a cemetery to say, let's at least cater for the needs of the Muslim community in East London. So that was our vision, right? Very short-sighted vision, in the sense that we bought a piece of land which had capacity of 10,000 graves. So we were really thinking that in our lifetime we would not need to worry about it, and that was the vision. So at least we would leave a legacy behind that people could just continue with our work, and that's where we hoped that it would end. But regrettably, as you've all seen, that events overtook us, and then in 15 years of operation the entire cemetery filled up. So we had to quickly look for another cemetery, which will fill up in another 5 years. And we've got the 3rd cemetery, which we've already bought, which is now going through construction work. It will be ready by 2021. But the problem is that the Muslim community is ever growing, and people are going to die. It's a simple fact, and that's why we need to be more aware of it, and we need to be more concerned about it. And it's not only my duty, I think it's the duty of the whole ummah. We invest so much on our dunya, and we are quite happy to pay £500,000 for a house, even if it's a terraced house, but nobody is willing to think about your final destination. And that's what the sad part about it is. And that is something which the ummah needs to wake up. Gardens of Peace cannot continue forever on the same basis. Everybody needs to contribute towards the longevity of the cemetery, and that's where I come in. And just to get your listeners an understanding, in the 2011 census, there were 1.1 million Muslims. We believe as of today there are about 1.6 million Muslims, and even if you say even 0.1% of Muslims die, we need 1,600 graves every single year. But we know from statistics that the average is between 0.5 to 1%. So if you look at that, we're looking about 8 to 16,000 graves every single year. The Muslims will need, maybe not now, but in 10 years' time, that's the rate of graves you will require.
Wow.
And you tell me, where are we going to get that piece of land or that amount of facilities? So we have to really start being very, very aware of it and start planning for it. And that's what we should be doing.
So in terms of the sites that you've mentioned, so obviously the first site, what was the capacity and how much? It's all fully sort of booked up now, isn't it?
The first site, we had a capacity of 10,000 adult graves and about 5,000 children, stillbirth and neonatal death. So the adults are completely filled. The children still continues there. We've got a space for another couple of years there.
Okay.
The second site has a capacity of 6,000. The third site is a capacity of 10,000 graves. So even if you look at it, if you add all those up, that's 16 plus another 10, so 26. We have given an undertaking to all the families that we will not touch their graves for 50 years, 50. So we still need 24 years worth of grave space. So that's 24,000 graves what we need in order to ensure that for 50 years, after that we can recycle, and then hopefully that problem will be eradicated. But this is the challenge we face, and we can't really move this challenge without the help of the community. For them to play their part. And what we are trying to do is we are trying to encourage every council within the whole of the UK, and in London in particular, that surely they are taxpayers just like everybody else. Why are you not providing the Muslim community for your residents a Muslim burial space, right? And if you don't have the know-how, ask us. We will try and help you. And this is the only way we believe that we will be able to resolve the problem of grave space, is if every borough takes this seriously. If they have reservations, they should come to us. We will guide them. We will help them manage it. Just like they give their cemetery management to somebody else, they can ask us and we can try and assist them to try and get cemetery running for them, and obviously like a normal contract, but at least the Muslim community will be able to have a cemetery for their loved ones near their place, but in the manner which we would want to be accustomed to.
How difficult is it to get land for a cemetery? Because these days, wherever there's land, there's flats going up.
Yeah.
So it must be really, really difficult. And
It's a very
I mean, are you actively looking for further land as well? So
Absolutely. It's a very pertinent question and a good question. The problem is that the only space on the planning law, the only place where you can really bury is green spaces, right? And it's got a permitted use. So the green space, there is a big demand on it. So the councils and all who owns the land, they have got 4 or 5 criteria. Firstly, green space have got schools needed, hospitals needed, housing needed, and grave and cemetery is really on the last of the list, right? So it's very, very difficult. Even having said that, even if land is available, you can buy the land, but then you'll have problems with planning. So that's the second issue we face, right? And the price of land which has got cemetery permission could go as high as £300,000 per acre. That's without any development on it, right? So you can imagine it's not a cheap venture to go into, right? I think people should not mistake that, opening a cemetery is buying a piece of land and start digging a small hole in it. It's not as simple as that. There are so many regulations which you need to go through. And that is why not many people really have just started it.
what are some of the regulations? So
the regulations are that you need to make sure that the water tables are properly surveyed, then you need to have the land condition, the soil condition, you need to say the environment where you're in. Also, you need to ensure that your neighbors are not inconvenienced. Then you should also find out that if there are any habitat there, like reptiles, and in this country there's so many protection species. So you need to have all those challenges. And then the most important challenge is where you have to get planning permission from the council itself, who would also have a bias to say, well, surely we have other priorities. Why should we give it to the Muslim community?
Yeah.
And we've had challenges all along our way, right? Just the first cemetery, I'll tell you, we didn't realize when we bought it. Everybody's been to the first cemetery. You don't even know that we had a problem when we started putting an application. We didn't realize that the housing behind us was the headquarters of the BNP. So you can imagine what problems we had. And so that was delayed everything. The second side, which is not yet open, and that is in Havering, it took us 8 years to get planning permission. And that because it was mainly a white working class, there were so many objections. Finally, it had to go for public inquiry, and then it had to go to the Secretary of State. But alhamdulillah, all your people's du'as and our intentions, we managed to get the planning permission. So this is why it becomes very difficult just to open a cemetery like that. And the other thing is that also you must have a good track record, so that even somebody wants to give you a cemetery space, you should have a track record to say that you are able to maintain a cemetery which is in upkeeping and also is in line with what the industry practices should be.
MashaAllah.
But then I was going to come down to where you mentioned earlier about the council coming on board. Obviously, number one, playing ball to give you the extra space.
Correct.
But you mentioned that, is there an opportunity for them to provide for I mean, how does it work for a non-Muslim right now? Do they get a space to them at a lower cost, or how what is the whole process?
The whole process is almost all councils
Yeah.
have got a cemetery, right?
Yeah.
Most of the non-Muslim people will also go to a cemetery, which is like West Ham. You would have also the City of London. See, you are in your borough, you've got one of the largest cemetery in the whole country, City of London.
Yeah.
And this is where most of the non-Muslims will be buried, right? For the Muslims, unfortunately, the councils, not only in Newham, but also in Redbridge, also in Barking and Dagenham, have really not been providing a space because of the fact that the Muslim community have managed to make sure that they can make their own provisions. So we have got some community being buried at Woodgrange, majority of them are buried at Gardens of Peace. And we are saying that this cannot be sustainable. So we are meeting the mayor of Newham, your new mayor. We are meeting her after the Eid break, and just to pressurize her as well, that listen, it is about time you provided for your residents a place for them to be buried in a dignified manner, just like the other people do. And some boroughs have been very, very good in terms of their residents. They give them a lot of subsidy, so they don't have to pay the same amount as anybody else would pay. I'll just give you an example. Tower Hamlets. Tower Hamlets have the outgoing mayor, Lutfur Rahman, managed to get a space for them at Camnell Park, which is in Sidcup. But at least he made sure that all the residents of Tower Hamlets could be buried for only £700. They subsidized it. The same thing happened for Waltham Forest. May Allah bless Muhammad Khan, who was councillor there. He managed to get a land from the council for the Muslims for £1, and where the residents of Waltham Forest would be buried, and they only pay about £900 only. So this is the council subsidizing it. So it is not something which is new. There is precedence already been set. All we are now doing is trying to ensure that that precedence which has been set by other boroughs should be followed by all the councils, so that their residents, just like every other residents, are being provided for. And then obviously people have a choice whether they wish to come to us. But for us as a Muslim community, we need to ensure that we have as much burial space available, so that we can then ensure that there is availability for the entire community.
What is the awareness of the Muslim community that this problem is actually happening?
Very little. Although we
It seems
keep
like
on-
it seems like
although,
it. It's
this is something which I've been raising for a number of years, but sometimes it falls on deaf ears. You know, something is that our people regrettably don't worry about death until a death occurs in their own family, right? So nobody does any planning for it. Nobody thinks about this as a problem. Everybody is just worried about the living dunya and what's going to happen. Have we got enough schools? Have we got enough this, mosques and everything like that? But nobody thinks of the a final destination. And this is my role is only as Gardens of Peace. Not only do we provide, but my role is to make the community aware that we do have an issue about grave space. And if you do not tackle it now, you will come to a stage whereby you will have compromised burials. And by compromised burials, I mean you will have to bury somebody in a cemetery whereby they do not provide everything in accordance with our faith. You will have no choice. Right?
So what can the, yeah, go on, Halim.
So what can, I think you're going to answer. What can the average person do? What can
the average person do? What we are trying to do is lobby the councils, right?
Yeah.
So once we get that meeting done, we will be reaching out to all the community members to say, please work with us and start to lobby your councillors to say exactly you should be providing some land.
But
So when you
the
say-
ideal scenario that you want to see is, from what I'm gauging, is that we know that the model cemetery is Gardens of Peace. They've achieved that, you know, and it's quite evident that we've been there, we've all seen it, that the council work with you to set up more cemeteries. That is what you want to see, isn't
Absolutely, yeah. That is exactly what we
Yeah.
want to see. And what we are saying that most councils will have a land bank of land.
Yeah.
And what we are saying is that look at that land bank of land, right, and see whether you can provide something for the Muslim community, right? We're not seeing only the Muslim, but for the entire community, right? The only problem we have as Muslims is the fact that 80% almost of all the non-Muslim burials are cremated. So it's only mainly the Muslim community plus Orthodox Christians and the Jewish community are the only ones which still go for burial. So who is going to be affected mostly? It's us.
Yeah.
That is a given. And this is why we are very strongly lobbying everybody, including the government, to ensure that they provide more space. And also we are also speaking to the government to say, please relax the laws for trying to get planning permission for cemeteries, right? So that way, hopefully, the hurdles which will be less, people will be more inclined to look for space and then trying to do. The ideal scenario would always be is the community itself goes and gets another piece of land, but we know that if a council's obligation also is to provide a cemetery, why do we not use that same piece of resources, and why are we trying to use community funds for something which the council should be able to provide, and use that other community funds for other projects for whatever that may be for the community.
So when you say that the community should lobby the council, so the average person should lobby the council, so what actions can they do? So if I was to say, right, I wanna back this idea, like, you know, that we should create more awareness, what can I do?
All we'll have to do is that we will have to create a platform for you, right?
That's
and
right.
whereby you will then need to lobby your councillors. You know, alhamdulillah, in the borough of Newham, you've got so many Muslim councillors.
Yep.
And you voted them in, right? So why don't you ask them that what are you going to do for burial space for the Muslim community, right? You should also be lobbying them very strongly and saying that, listen, it is we elected you. This is a Muslim need. We are looking towards you to try and find a solution for it, right? And this is something which you should be trying to do. And what we are doing is to take the initial step of trying to meet with the mayor, and then hopefully once we get some sort of a proper plan in place, we will approach each and every mosque, each and every community members in all the boroughs to say that this is now your opportunity to try and do so. And the only reason we're trying to do so is that if you look at the cost of land and the cost of development, it's not sustainable for a charitable organization to continue to provide that amount, right? And this is why it is important that we all take this issue very seriously and work as a community, irrespective of your fiqh or whatever you follow. It doesn't make any difference. This is a Muslim problem. Death occurs to each and every one of us, and this should be taken as this is one form of unity as an ummah we can move forward in.
MashaAllah. No, that's. I mean, I want to mention as well, because there's a lot of people coming on and they're mentioning Brother Omar's work and everything.
Yeah.
I've managed to attend quite a few burials over the years, and we had a burial last couple of weeks ago where one of our key allies, key men, workers, Dar Sahib, obviously passed away and was buried at Gardens of Peace. And that was actually the first time that I've contributed in burying someone in Gardens of Peace. So although you've been there and whatever, but this was actually first time, and actually got to see firsthand how serious Gardens of Peace take their burial. Big respect to your staff as well. The way they were so professional, made sure everyone understood the instructions, made sure, the whole process was done effectively. Everyone got their turn in what they wanted to do. And the communication, it was spot on.
If there wasn't a process in place, people that were burying, that have gone for the burial, they would have been in the grave themselves as well.
This is it.
You can see that people just they want to obviously throw them. They want to do some of the sunnahs as well. But there's a way to do them. Everyone, not just everyone goes forward, gets the spade, and they start chucking.
It was clockwork, wasn't it? It was
really well handled. Really well handled.
And everyone felt that they contribute to the burial because it's a sunnah, isn't it, to go to the burial. To see and try to obviously contribute in what's happening as well. Now, when we were there with Dar Saab's funeral, we all felt that connection, professionalism and so on. Now, before that, I've been just literally the week before that, I went to one, and that's what it was. That you just turn up there, the whole family surround the grave, and they're all literally like on top, and you're thinking, what's going on here? And then all of a sudden,
it's really well handled. The whole process from start to finish, when the body arrives, alhamdulillah, it's really well handled.
And to just even set foot in the initial first Gardens of Peace cemetery in Hainault, if you just go there, literally
amazing.
Go there. I've just
so
been
peaceful, so peaceful.
It's Ajib. It's Ajib, that feeling that you get there, because obviously going to a burial site, it's kind of scary. But when
reminds you of your own death as well.
Exactly. But there you get this Ajib feeling, and I remember saying to Omar the first time I came, Omar, I don't know, I'm getting this feeling. It's strange, but it was at the same time quite fulfilling as well. And
it's well maintained, isn't it?
You know what? In terms of when inshallah we do go on FM, I think it will be really important to have you on, because there's a lot of people that don't know about the problems which you just said. So it would definitely be really important to have you on.
I think what would be important, sorry to cut you, what would be very, very important is the fact that, not only the awareness of the grave, but also people need to be aware of the process in terms of legal Islamic. That is so important, because people are not really aware of it. But just to take your point that, one of the ethos we had at Gardens of Peace was very simple, that when a bereaved person comes to the cemetery full of grief, trying to bury their loved ones, after having buried that, and then leave the cemetery, if they do not give even a bit of sukoon, then we have failed in our duty. So that is what we are trying to do. So because, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used to say that make sure whoever is bereaved, try and give them comfort, try and make it easy for them. And that's what we try and do. And also we are the only cemetery who do not allocate slot times. So unfortunately, our community have taken advantage of that. So we would have 6, 7, 8 funerals all turning up at the same time, right? And that is why we had to put a process in place so that every family did not feel that they were not being given the service. So we had to put a system in place, and that is the only way it could work. So everybody is given their slot, and everybody is given their peace of mind, and everybody is given their privacy wherever possible, despite the fact that we have multiple funerals happening at the same time.
So what is the system? So someone passes away,
yes,
which everyone is going to pass away one day. So they get in contact with yourself. So what's the actual process of how it works? So they just phone
for us it's very simple. If you phone us up before 12 o'clock on the day, right, we will then be able to allocate you a burial space. Right? Okay. That's all you need to do. But you must make sure you have the necessary paperwork.
Of course.
Green form. Without the paperwork, we will not bury anybody else.
Of
right?
course, in case someone's like...
Absolutely. So we would not do that, because the problem is that some people have taken the risk. For us, we would never want to do that.
Of course.
Because if you do one mistake, they will jump on you and close your cemetery. So we do not want to risk that. So for that, we are open 7 days a week, 365 days a year, even on Eid day. We always bury. The only thing is that we have a restriction on the timing. The last burial, we would want people to be there for 4, so that by 5 everything is finished. Okay. So that's the only restriction we have. Otherwise, we bury 3. And unfortunately, the other thing is that, we're still not following the sunnah of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, which is to say, bury somebody as quickly as possible. Nowhere does it say in the hadith, nowhere does it say anywhere that you should bury somebody after Zohar Salah. But yet we have made it a custom that we all make sure that after Zohar Salah, that is the time we all come. So the whole mornings, and for us, it would be so much beneficial if people were able to spread it out, so that, it's less of an issue for us in terms of managing the crowd. Digging the grave is not an issue, it's managing the crowd, right? So for us, it will be so much easier if people were able to space it out. But to educate our people, Very difficult. Absolutely.
So in winter time, is it you have a cut-off point? Because winter time, Maghrib's quite.
Still the same.
Okay.
So
So what
if
if it's
you-
dark? What if it gets?
So
starts
if it goes slightly over, right, then we've
Yeah.
got floodlights in place, right? But so if you
Oh,
if
you have? Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
if you get by 4 o'clock,
Yeah.
right, then we will be able to do so. We encourage people in the winter months to come in slightly earlier
Yeah.
so that we are finished by Maghrib, right?
Yeah.
But if somebody is late because of traffic or something like that, we do have provisions. So if it goes slightly over, we will try and accommodate.
And what kind of areas do people come from? Is it mainly local or do
Mainly
people come
is,
from?
mainly is northeast London. So I would say it's Newham, Barking and Dagenham, Redbridge, Tower Hamlets, Hackney. Those are the main ones, right? But we do get something from out of the inner East London as well. So we'd get from Southall, Wembley, all those areas. To give you a perspective about if you look at northeast London, we probably bury about 76% of all the Muslim deaths from that area. Okay, if you look at the whole of London, it's not an accurate, but we estimate about 40 to 45% of all the Muslim death in the whole of London probably might end up at Gardens of Peace. So we have been providing, and because we don't charge a different rate if you are from a different borough, we don't charge an extra if it's a weekend or a bank holiday. It's the same fixed price. So for us, sometimes what happens is those boroughs don't have weekend facilities will automatically, as a default, come to us. So that's been the situation on that one.
Now, in terms of education,
Yes.
this is I can see you're quite passionate about it. You attend so many sermons, so many Jummah khutbahs to try to tell people you're at it constantly. And obviously, we're saying at Revive FM, we want you to also do a slot as well on a regular basis so that you can do that education. In terms of workshops and in terms of you getting out there and teaching people, because it is a process. I only myself started to understand it because obviously Minhaj Funeral Services and so on, we had to understand the process, the paperwork. I had to liaise with you quite a bit. So I'm starting to understand the process, but it is quite a big process. And for someone who's, lost their mother or lost their, close family member, for them to get all that paperwork as well, the green form, the certification, the coroner reports, all these things, it's an absolute nightmare to deal with.
It's absolute nightmare. This is why we at least twice a year have a funeral awareness workshop at our cemetery. One is for men, which we already had, and now we have one for the ladies on the 7th of July, and we'll have one more for the men sometime in August, whereby we go through the whole stage. So what do? We go from when the person dies, from an Islamic perspective, from a legal perspective, then a practical perspective. How do you give ghusl and what they need? So it's like an entire workshop, right? And we give you at the end of it a handout so that you are able to do so. Also, we now have recruited three imams. So those 3 imams' job will also be to, where necessary, if they have got to go to communities, they can then also ensure that they can also do the same workshop with yourself. So if you want one at Minhajul Quran, they can come down and give you the workshop. This is what needs to be done. But all we request that there should be a sizable number, right? We don't want to present to 2 people or 3 people, right? If it's a sizable number, then it makes sense for everybody concerned that no, we are now imparting knowledge, and that needs to be done. There are so many different things coming through, and this is why it is important for constant education, right? You can do one whole slot just on the coroner. What does a coroner do? What is the coroner issues, right? Then also you do a whole thing. What does the hospital people do? What does post-mortem mean? All these things need to be, and for people to understand why they do it, right? And so then a lot of times what I found very good is that if there is a lot of interaction, so if people from the community have got lots of questions, let them ask, because if they don't ask, people will not learn, right? And this is what our main thing. And also a lot of work is going, people don't know that, but we sit on government bodies, on a number of them for burials, and we actually are targeting to the government to share, please ensure that first, for all Muslims, you have to make sure the processes are there, which gives a quick release of body. We are always trying to do that. Secondly, we are working with the registrar office as well to make sure that their process is made easy as well. Now we are going to work with the GPs as well to say, because the biggest problem we face today in our community is if somebody dies at home on a Friday, The GP surgery is not open in the weekends. So you've got everything else done, but the GP is not open. So you have to wait till Monday. And the practice manager or the one, if your GP is not there, the rest of the practice people will not sign it. So I'm now discussing with the Royal College of GPs. I have a meeting on the 11th of July where I'm going to put it to them that, listen, you have to make this process much easier. The coroners have now already started to provide services. The registrar provides services 7 days a week. We cannot have GPs not being able to provide a facility for people of faith who need to bury as quickly as possible. So this is all the things which goes out in the background. We don't publicize it, but for us, it's to ensure that the process for a family who's bereaved is made as easy as possible. So that's where we're coming from.
There's a lot of issues in the background. There's a lot of things
going
going on.
This is where you appreciate almost passion and
exactly.
concern. You mentioned 3 imams. So you've actually recruited 3 imams.
Correct.
Sole job is what? To educate, but to lead the janazah prayers as well?
To lead the janazah prayer, plus all the questions. A lot of people will have questions about death from an Islamic fiqh perspective. Like, what do we need to do if it's a child? Do we need to pay Salatul Janazah? For women as well, to say, what are the respect, or if a husband dies, what are what women needs to do, what the iddah period is. A lot of questions pertaining to death will occur to that. Also, there will be questions about bereavement when somebody dies. How does the family cope? What are the Islamic teachings on it? So this is the reason why. And also the other reason is the fact that our cemetery is becoming very, very busy. Some of the funerals which come don't have any imams, and they will also like someone to make dua for them. So that is why we want to make sure that there is an imam present who can give you answers on a fiqh basis, whatever is required. So this is why we're always enhancing our service, so that people can come to Gardens of Peace knowing that if they've got any issues, someone will be there in attendance to answer their queries, as well as ensuring that we try our utmost to ensure that we deliver a service which is as close as possible to Sunnah in terms of the burial aspect of it.
So your sort of target is to always have an imam present.
Always have an imam present.
That's brilliant.
Always have an imam present.
That's really, okay. I've heard, I'm not sure if this is true, that you're allowed to bury someone in your garden.
Yes,
in
it
your
is
own garden.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true. Absolutely. There's nothing preventing you from burying somebody in your garden, right? However, you need to ensure that you fulfill some of the criteria. So it is not really, but in theoretically, yes, you are perfectly allowed to bury somebody in your garden.
Okay.
But it is not recommended. It's not recommended to do so, right? but theoretically, it is. There are people like
make a darbar there.
Yeah, people who've got estates.
Yeah.
They will have their own cemetery in their own gardens, right? They're able to do it. As long as the paperwork is there, there's not an issue whatsoever. You can dispose of it. But these days, what it is most of the government are saying that they are not encouraging that aspect to be done as well, because lots of things happen to even people who are buried. Unfortunately, this world is becoming very sick, so that's why we need to make sure them on that one.
Well said. I agree. You could have said it better yourself there as well. But as we've got Brother Omar on one particular point that we wanted to discuss, which Brother Omar's obviously got his leaflets here as well, was about the I'm just totally gone blank. The saving plan and the burial fund.
Correct.
This is something that Gardens of Peace is looking to do now. So.
Okay, what we want to do is that firstly we started a cemetery, then we started a funeral service, so people can come to us as one stop. Now 2 additional products which we've introduced. Firstly is a burial fund. A burial fund is basically for people who cannot afford funeral fees and burial fees, right? We've had so many requests from the public to say that, listen, every time somebody dies, people go on WhatsApp, go on Facebook to say, this person, can we raise money for that? And there is no accountability, right? We're not saying those who are raising money, they'll be putting any doubt on them, but they're saying that why don't you have an institution who can actually collect the money and then distribute it with a due process to ensure that the eligibility criteria is being fulfilled. So that is what we have just launched. It's called the burial fund. So whoever is in a dire state can apply to us, and we will do our utmost to ensure that we can help us. So this particular fund will be managed by Gardens of Peace, but overlooking the process will be 4 imams. There's an imam panel of Mufti Zubair Bats. He's from the Sharia Council. Then we have Mufti Abdul Rahman Mangera, who is also from Zamzam Academy. Sheikh Haytham Al-Haddad, you will know. Sheikh Khalid, who is also from the Sharia Council, and lastly Sheikh Abdul Qayyum from East London Mosque. It's just a wide panel. It's not in any respect supposed to be any fiqh element on it. It's just somebody to overlook us, to say whatever we are doing, we're playing it fair. That's what we're trying to do. So that's the first aspect. So we will encourage people to donate to that. If you go to our website, you will find that. If not, they can come to the cemetery. There's a separate account which is maintained, so it is not to do with our general account. It is ring fenced, and only those people. Why do we need to have a criteria? Very simple. This world has changed. People even cheat at death. So people will come to us and say, well, can you give me a discount, right? And then, you feel sorry to say it's genuine. Then they come to the burial, they'll come in a Porsche, they'll come in a Mercedes-Benz, they make the Mickey out of it. So we have never, in the 17 years of our operation, never ever refused any burial because of funding at all. We've always buried, but it has to be genuine, right?
Course.
Yes.
We cannot abuse money because it's an amana to us. We have to discharge. Secondly, the other thing which came to mind, because the cost of burial is increasing, and for a family, if somebody dies, immediately to take out between 3,000 to 4,000 pounds immediately becomes an issue for some families, right? Or if you have a sudden death, 2 or 3 in a family, it becomes a major problem. So what they were trying to ask is there any way you can pre-sell the plots? We said, no, we can't do that, right? Because we don't have enough space. We don't have enough grave space available. So what we said, what we are willing to do, and we've launched that, is a funeral saving scheme. So what this allows, it is your money, but you are allowed to pay, say, £30, minimum £30 every month, and you just build up your own fund, right? This is your money, nothing to do with us. Should you die, that money would be used towards your funeral cost, right? If you have paid more than what the current charges are, we will give the money back, the difference, to your next of kin, the beneficiary. If it's slightly less, then whoever the beneficiary is will just need to top it up. What we will give a guarantee is the fact that if you, not a guarantee, we will undertake to ensure that if you have this plan out with us, we will make sure that you are buried at one of our cemetery sites which we are running. If we are not running any cemetery at that stage because there's no space available, we will at least endeavor to ensure that you are buried in a Muslim way, in an appropriate manner at an appropriate cemetery. So we will give that undertaking. This is why, because the best will in the world, you say, I'll put aside £10 at my home, it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen, yeah.
So if you leave it with us, this is your money and it is your amana. We will not touch it. It is your money. We will give you a yearly statement to say this is the amount of money we've collected for you. You can cancel it at any stage. Give us a notice. We have the full money back. We're not going to charge you any administration fee at all. This is our way of helping people plan for their burial fees, right? If you don't use it and you want to pass it on to somebody else, you can do so. Or you can say, okay, please, I've not used it because my father or somebody that's been buried. Please use this money for somebody else who's deserving. We'll use that as well. So these are two unique products which we have come up. So this is, we hope that the community will take us up on that, and we will be happy to explain to anybody concerned further. If they just come to us, we will be able to guide them. Or if you want us to come to a community place to explain this further, we are more than happy to do so.
What's the process that you got in place? There must be some kind of process for the burial fund. If someone says, you know what, I don't have the money.
Yes.
Or I can only pay a certain amount.
So what we will do, we'll put checks in place to say, okay, fine, which community are you for? Have you approached your local mosque, for example, right? And do you have any next of kin? Do you have any savings, right? Do you have any recourse to public funds, right? If all this is exhausted, right, then we can go. If a person is lawaris, for example, has got nobody, right, there is already a fund in place for a Lawaris fund, right, which was run by Haji Taslim for years ago, right? He set it up. So that fund is still in place, but that really applies to only a person who has got nobody, right? And there are cases people have, some bodies are in hospitals, mortuaries for 3 months, 6 months. Those cases immediately go to that. But you cannot bury, if you have got a family, you cannot be considered as a Lawaris, right? So that's something families needs to take responsibility for, right? So that's one of the issues you need to do so.
Well, the government, they've got
So the other thing, the government also have got a scheme called a social and social fund scheme, right? So the only problem on the social fund is that they will not give you the money straight away. They have to apply for it. So if you are a non-Muslim, they can wait for 3 months, 3 weeks, 6 weeks. They don't mind. For us as a Muslim community, we cannot wait. We have already been starting with the government to say that this fund is good, but does not help the Muslim community. So they are looking at it to see how they can advance the money, right? So there is an amount available. They may not be 100%, but at least there is funds available for those people who are any form of income support. They can get it. But please be very mindful of it. A lot of people make a mistake. The deceased does not have to be on income support. The next of kin has to be on some sort of benefit, right? So if you say my father was on income support and he's passed away, let's claim he will not be able to do. It got to be the next of kin was able to do so. So there is government and also not good news or news to that effect that the government are proposing that any child under the age of 18, they are going to work for a mechanism whereby they are going to pay for it. We're still waiting for how it's going to work. But Theresa May announced that in November, and she announced again, and by July we've been told that they will have a scheme in place, and I will then share with the community that this is once again we've been lobbying as well the government as well. So we've been doing a lot behind the scenes so that people are aware that we are not a lot of work has been going on in the background.
Mashallah. It seems like it. In terms of the two policies or plans that you've got in place, are systems in place? I mean, you're saying that you're going to send yearly statements.
Correct.
Is that already happening now, or is
no? We've just started. We've just started.
Okay. So
we've just started.
The infrastructure.
Everything has been done. It's been done. We just launched it now. So hopefully, whoever starts with us by the next year, by next Ramadan, they will start getting their statements and everything.
Brilliant. No, that sounds good. Omar, I'm getting this question in. I'm just trying to find a way to ask you, but yeah, I'll just
ask
you straight away. Someone's asking that how, obviously you've done a lot of burials over the years, a considerable lot of burials over the years. What has been your toughest? What has been your toughest burial?
Okay, the toughest burial, without a shadow of doubt, is to bury a child. Without a shadow of doubt, right? And the reason being is the fact that, in most cases, when you bury a small child, right, there is nothing visible on that body except you look at a child like an angel. How do you not have a heart to bury that particular child? Because you can imagine, not only are the parents going through so much turmoil, but you, as somebody who's watched that baby, knowing that this particular baby is completely marked free, you then have to send it away to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's His amana, but it is so difficult for us to do so. So that is from an emotional perspective, right? But from a difficult perspective, yes, I think perhaps the most difficult one was the Grenfell victims, because of the Grenfell victims, of the 72 people who died, 34 were buried at our cemetery. That was very, very difficult, right? And the sense why it was difficult, because you would have one entire family. So one day we had to bury 5 people together, all one family, right? And then we had to bury another 3 families together. So all that was an emotional stress. In terms of practical difficulties, cases of where people have drowned, or have been murdered, or have come under a train, those things are very difficult to handle. You have not faced it yet because you just only start your funeral services. Now you will get times when the body is really in a very, very bad state. So that becomes very, very difficult to handle, right? So this is perhaps more difficult than anything we've had to do. I mean, children might be listening, so I don't want to go into the gruesome details, but there are bodies which are very, very in bad conditions, whereby we even take a decision that we first look at the body and then we decide and tell the family that it is our opinion that you should not look at the body, right? Because of the distress it will cause you. We're not restricting them, so you can't, but we will advise them, because we don't want them to have nightmares for the rest of their lives to say that I saw my father like this, or my mother like this, or my brother, and see what I've got down there. So that is something which is very, very difficult for us to deal. So really, and youngsters, who've been murdered. I mean, in the last 6 months, all these cases of the knife crime, the murders, we are on the receiving end. And we are having to console the families, the parents and everything. What have my son done? He's only 16 years of age. What did he do wrong? Where did we go wrong? Right? And this is what people don't understand, the real human costs of these crimes which are being committed. And this is a responsibility for us as a Muslim community. What are we doing as a Muslim community for our youth? Tell us, what are we doing? Right? Every gathering you go, we always have elderly, middle-aged, and the same people arranging every single time. We are failing our youth, right? And this is something I would urge with your radio coming on 24 hours, hopefully after please try and engage the youth in the community. And I think if you do that, you will do so much credit to the whole community. And I am sure that your founder, his vision has always been that the youth should be the ones who are taught and should be able to take the next generation through. And this is where I think our institution should be very clear. Like us ourselves, we are at that age whereby we are 1 foot is in the grave. We are already planning on succession planning. We need youth to come in to take over from us, right? Not in any way trying to change the philosophy or the governance, but also just to take sure that that particular work continues. And every mosque and every Muslim institution must be thinking of that. Don't think it you own it. It has to be passed on and the legacy has to continue. If we don't do that, then we will have an issue.
Mashallah. You know what?
Powerful words.
I think definitely we need to get Brother Omar on in the future.
Absolutely.
We need to give him a regular slot. There's so much that you've talked about in such a short time, which you can expand upon as well. I think it's very eye-opening to see what you actually go through, for what we as part of the community can do as well. So definitely to have you, inshallah.
I mean, you can see the importance. You can see the importance of this discussion, and this is why Brother Omar is always so passionate about coming on the radio to say that, look, I need to get it's not about him getting himself out there, but it's about the message, about the cause, about what's happening, and it's something that we always tend to just put aside.
Today's been definitely, we've had Brother Omar before as well, but today's been a completely different angle.
Absolutely.
Really, really interesting.
Brother Omar, once again, we appreciate your time and efforts to come down. Inshallah, I'm going to hand it back to yourself for your final conclusions, and then inshallah we will go on a short break, and then we'll come back with the next session, inshallah.
Jazakallah khair, the month of Ramadan. Please do not forget all those who have lost their lives in this holy month. Also, before that, always ensure that this holy month you do not forget your parents, you do not forget your loved ones. Make dua for them and make dua for the ummah. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us unity. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us an opportunity to prepare for our death before death faces us. And all those who are not well, who may be in a hospital, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them full shifa. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our ibadat in this holy month of Ramadan. And most importantly, we make dua that this radio, which Revive FM, Allah is going to give it success, may it be a means to spread the word of Islam, and may we be guided on the right path, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always ensure that He forgives our shortcomings. Jazakallah khair.
Once again, Brother Omar, really appreciate your time. Guys, keep listening on Facebook. MashaAllah, people are tuning in. We are going to come to our next session, which will be about jinns or depression. So it'll be interesting to see what happens at that point. So guys, make sure you tune in. Make sure you keep commenting on your Facebook Live. We're literally going to be back in the next few minutes, so keep listening on Revive FM.
Stuck. I leave it.
رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد صلى الله عليه وسلم مدينة هنانا I pray you take me to Medina oh Allah oh ya Rasul anta مولانا هنانا I pray you take me to Medina my heart is in Medina my only role model is the Prophet peace and blessings upon the Prophet better recognize his name is Muhammad recognize that his name Muhammad I would be lost if I didn't find him I would be lost and so misguided everybody sing along Allah was just known as Yathrib. 7th century, he made the hijrah for that message. He arrived, everyone rejoiced, he was accepted. The Ansar celebrated, vowed to protect him. Ya Rasulullah, you're the one our hearts connect to. Love you like Bilal did, radiyallahu anhu. The connection so strong, I know I haven't met you. I'ma pray, I'ma see you in my dream one day. One day, I'm following your sunnah because that's the one way. If I have you in my heart, I can never complain. No, you're in my soul. It's like you're standing next to me. You're in our hearts and you live amongst the spiritual. And I'm praying I can carry on your legacy. Waiting for the day I'm in that shit never live. In Medina, oh na na. I pray you take me to Medina, oh Allah. Oh ya Rasul anta Maulana, oh na na. I pray you take me to Medina. My heart is in Medina.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Drive Time. Mashallah, that was quite an intense session with intense and informative session with Brother Omar from Gardens of Peace. Really important session. I extended it on purpose because I thought out of respect we should be giving that time to him and the importance to get that education, to get that understanding. Had a great chat with Brother Omar afterwards as well, and he's keen to get back on to Revive FM, so inshallah watch that space. But any comments, keep tuning in to Facebook Live. Get your comments in. I see people are logged in, ready and listening. So inshallah, do get your comments in. A few people have said salam, so wa alaikum salam to you guys, which is good. So yes, the topic that we're coming into now, guys. Thought of it yesterday, alarm bells, but depression or jinns. So people look at that and think, what are you saying, depression or jinns? What is this topic that you're hinting towards? Everyone can see that Revive FM this week obviously is the mental health week. Revive FM have been doing a lot of shows. We've taken this seriously. Most of our vision of Revive FM is that we want to help youth. We want to create a platform for youth. We want to create a voice for youth. So we are trying to do something for them to give them a sense of purpose. Now, mental health week, we thought, no, look, we've got to do a couple of shows. Yeah. To Brother Halim's credit, he started off the first show last week, which was talking about exam stresses and the mental health associated with that. We obviously, throughout the week, we had Brother Abdul Malik, who did a few shows on mental health, and now obviously we're discussing this topic as well. So we're taking it very, very important that this is something that we need to discuss. So when people look at jinns or depression, why have I sort of named this title or whatever? What's the reasoning behind that? So to give you guys a context of this discussion, that what we angled that we would potentially want to take it, is that in the Muslim community, mental health is still a major taboo. It's something that we don't want to understand, and we tend to just brush it underneath the carpet. This is a commonplace. If you look at it, like I've seen situations now that you're trying to analyze your son, my son, I look at him and I think, okay, I've got to, if he's in a bad mood, you shouldn't do this. If he's in a good mood, you should do this. There's so many ways to look after him and to be aware of his mental health. I'm thinking, Yard, what's this about? I never had this. In our lifetimes, we were just like, look, first generation parents, good luck to you, mate. I'm working 18, 19 hours a day. You're basically left to it, to fend for yourself and try to discover your world. And alhamdulillah, some of us done all right, but some of us obviously struggled. And there's been, for them to raise mental awareness or mental health issues, they they didn't had no platform to raise it.
Yeah.
And if all of a sudden they did, what happened? You know, but you want to give
Go for it, bro. Go for it.
so the comment was, but that is called, you know, jinnah, yeah. It's one of those one which translated means most likely this boy's got jinn, so we need to get the ruqyah experts involved, or we need to do certain rituals to fix him, and it'll be just to neglect him. So he's spiritually down, whatever's down, you know, complete neglect this person. There's no need, there's no other way out. He's spiritually down, and you leave him to it. You try to work out ways to spiritually correct them, but instead of actually thinking, okay, you know what, let me just sit down with him and communicate with the guy.
Yeah.
You know, that will never happen. So this is the taboo that we want to challenge, and we want to get people on board as well, that whoever's listening out there right now, if you want to contribute to the show as well, give us a call on.
Oh, is the number still not come up on the screen?
This is him, our station manager,
We need
who's
to sort it
currently
out.
in
We need to
meetings.
sort it out.
You know, this is
You know
what
what,
happens. I've been looking at it right now.
You know what, we'll make sure that it's on the
And,
screen.
but we will
They
get the
come
number
on
up.
screen.
But
So the number is 0333 444 0940. That's 0333 444 0940. We'll get the number on screen shortly as well, inshallah.
So let's just open it up. So why do you think that in our community, let's say, you know, especially the Pakistani, Indian, Bangladeshi community, subcontinent
Yes.
community, why is this, like you said, so-called taboo? You know, why is it still quite popular? Because it is quite popular still at the moment, and it's not only just mental health. I just want to throw that out there. It's also anything to do with health, whether that's special educational needs. Because I've noticed that working in education, that's also a big thing that parents just want to. They don't. I think they're in neglect. They don't want to accept the fact that, you know what, there might be a mental health issue there. There might be, you know, this person has, you know, some additional needs. They just in neglect. They don't want to accept that. So why? What can be done? Why is that the case?
I mean, I think we should talk about more about the our culture, our culture of how they struggling to discuss mental health, you know, or ensuring their households have a good mental well-being. This is something that is not being done, and it's a concern. It's a concern. I mean, the cultures are classic. You know, there's classic examples. You know, mental is one aspect, but if someone's ill or whatever, you know, the classic answer is kala jadoo ho gaya, black magic ho gaya, nazar lag gaya. This is fair enough. Obviously, some aspects, of course, we're not here, we're not scholars to say that. Yeah, fair enough, whatever.
Yeah.
But what we're saying is that, hold on, have you taken a step back and said, look, is my son or daughter actually depressed, or is my husband or wife depressed? Let me sit with them. What are the signs? What are the signs of depression? What are the signs of mental illness that, you know what, let me sit down and sort of discuss with them that, look, these are my concerns.
How do you think things have changed from how they were maybe 5-10 years ago to how they are now? Why is there so much? So we're looking at mental illness in a completely different way. Why do you think that is, from how it was 10 years ago, let's say, to how it is now?
It's a good question, because for me it frustrates me as well, because I keep using this example because you can see where I'm coming from. That personally, it was like, as a youngster, we didn't. There was no mental illness. There was nothing.
It was unheard of.
Exactly, it was absolutely unheard of.
Schools, you would vouch
There's
for.
so many more labels out there now compared to when we were in school.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. So you think, well, you know, why are they labeling? Why is all these labels come now all of a sudden?
Yeah.
But in our time, you know, the classes, now you've got like the main teacher, and you've got all these teaching assistants, and so on, you know, support teachers and whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, in our time, it was just the one teacher, right?
Exactly.
That's all it was.
Exactly.
And you think, we all got on with it.
Yeah.
Yes, there were a few kids that were troublesome, but you just thought they're just, you know, little trouble kids and whatever, and you just dealt with it. But now, you know, is the balance obviously shifted to the other way, where more awareness has been created, more education has been created, and I think the parents, the second generation or third generation, have actually, because they had gone through it at that point and thought, okay, you know what, I did actually go through that, and if, you know, my father or my mother had sat down with me and maybe had communication with me, maybe I would have thrived more. I have this debate with my dad all the time. I said, look, Dad, you know, Dad, because where I've seen my soft side of my dad is with my son. You know, seeing a grandfather's love with,
Yeah.
with the sibling,
Yeah.
with the little one, is something else. So my
course.
dad, I see this love coming out, Bihar coming out,
Yeah.
talking coming out, and I'm thinking, that's my dad. Yeah, and I'm thinking, fantastic. And I go, Dad, where was that when you know, for me? Because like, you know, if you had given me a bit of that and sat down with me and actually communicated to me, rather than being the scary figure, perhaps we would have thrived a lot more. So similar, obviously, with our culture and with the awareness that's being created now, and the experiences, the personal experiences that a lot of the parents or, you know, the generations have gone through now, I think it's become more
Do you think that it could be partly social media to blame for that as well? Because now everything's on social media. You're basically looking at social media, want to look in a certain way, you want to do things in a certain way, and if you don't look like that, or you don't look like this, or you can't have what other people
Certain
have,
things.
you basically just start getting. It's easy to just get depressed.
So what you're saying, that people are less happy in life now
With what they have now.
With what they have now.
Even though they may have more than what people had in the past,
but now
but
the-
social media has such a massive role to play as well. That's why all of these issues are coming to the forefront now.
So the lust and the desire to have more is a lot higher now compared to than what it was before.
No,
but then someone could counteract that. Then how comes these sort of illnesses occur in children as well? Because
It's exactly the same thing.
Are children being exposed to this?
Of course.
to similar
Of
things?
course, the first thing that a child has in their hand is a mobile phone.
Yeah.
You take that mobile phone away from them, they go nuts.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Because we touched on this yesterday, and you've really, I think, the angle that you've taken it is interesting. Because absolutely that's what it is. Because I gave an example of, maybe it's our personal experiences, awarenesses, or whatever. But you've just mentioned an excellent example where the rise of social media. Classic. Yes, there is positivities of social media, but negativities is that.
Yeah.
I remember insane when we were in school. We whatever happened in school stayed in school.
Yeah.
You know, whether you got bullied, you took it, you accepted
Yeah.
it, but you knew as soon as you left from there,
Yeah.
you're home. You can switch off.
Yeah.
You're at home. It's your surroundings. It's your personal space.
Yeah.
You recover.
Exactly,
And you get ready
yeah.
for the next day.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Whereas it doesn't stop.
Yeah, the
It doesn't
bullying,
stop
yeah,
now.
exactly, yeah.
Because the social
Bullying,
media
yeah.
aspect, what's happening right now
Yeah.
is the children are coming home.
Yeah.
And then they're getting social media bullied.
Yeah.
Facebook, they're getting terrorized. You know, whatever's happening there, they're getting terrorized. Or, you know, they might put a picture of themselves up.
Yeah.
They're waiting for the likes. They're waiting for, you know, what's
Yeah.
and on social media, if you remember, I
Exactly,
discussed,
that's exactly how it is.
week one where I said to you that, you know, I'm looking at all these physiques out there.
Yeah.
And what do? They go and have a pizza slice after.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, oh my God, man,
Yeah.
I'm busting myself
Yeah.
to try to get a physique. And I'm keeping myself on these diet plans. And these jokers are doing
Yeah.
this. So that, you know, your anger builds up. So that's
Yeah.
just a small scale. But obviously, imagine what the children are going through. Or the
Of
school
course, I
children
think
and
that, you know
stuff.
what,
Crazy.
definitely social media has
Interesting,
had
interesting.
such a massive impact. You know what, coming back to how it was, maybe that's why back in the days it was, there's basically a
A
jinn.
lot more
You
calm,
know what, a
yeah.
jinn's coming, a jinn's attacked him, a jinn's coming. So maybe it was that now, because it was basically unheard of. So the older generation, the way they used to think, you know what, we don't know how to handle this, so let's just basically blame it on the jinns. Easy way out. Whereas now, there's so much that is going on and so much awareness that everyone knows, you know what, in terms of mental illness, in terms of depression, this is the way to handle it. Where back in the days, no one knew how to handle it. And who did they go to then?
The used well,
Peer Sab.
Absolutely.
I think that's
Bismillah, Bismillah.
I think
That's
that's,
who they-
I think that's still going on though, isn't it? Especially in the subcontinent. You know,
It is.
you've got as soon as something goes wrong with a child or even an
anyone,
adult,
with anyone at all.
the first thing they do is not to go and see a doctor, but you know, jinn bag out. Let's go to the.
Forget that. There's even instances where I've actually seen, this is real, yeah, where someone's gas every month is coming higher, or their electric is every month is coming higher.
The bill.
Yeah. The bill's coming higher.
Yeah.
They put a taweez around the gas meter.
Okay, you know what?
Let's not.
This is, this is
Right.
reality.
That-
This is this is reality.
I'm glad you said that.
This is reality. This is and
this is
some people think, you know what? Oh yeah, you know what? But so people actually believe that as well.
You know what? It's and this is the concern thing, because Halim raised it as well to say that has it died down? In fact, it probably hasn't.
In a certain community and certain culture, it hasn't.
Can it be that it's further increased because of the awareness, maybe a little bit there, but
On the other end,
it has increased. And if you look at it, yes, in certain cultures, like let's talk about Pakistan, for example. I have a friend who was in Pakistan, and when they were there, when they got ill, or when they were down, or when they were spiritually low, when they were depressed, instead of the community out there acknowledging those or sitting down with that individual and saying, okay, let's sit down, let's talk about your issues or so on, straight away diagnosis, you've got a jinn, you've got black magic, let's go to the relevant scholars or the parties and try to sort this out. Whether it's all about taking that person to a side and saying, okay, look, let's talk about your issues right now. But it never happens. It never happens. And that is, in Pakistan, it's a major concern, and I think they're well behind.
But here, let's talk about over here.
Absolutely.
So, are people still blaming jinns for mental illnesses? Probably not as much anymore. Or would you disagree with that?
It is an important point, and I think I'll get a word taken, but there is.
Look, within the Pakistani, Indian, Bengali community, it still is going on.
Still a major issue.
Yes,
it is still an issue. Anything goes wrong, they blame it on a jinn. Anything goes wrong, black magic.
Yes.
Someone's basically got zakam or they've got a flu for 3 days. They say, this person, someone's done black magic, kala jadoo. That's just the way that it is.
I mean, look, that jinn black magic world is something that I always tend to like. Although you acknowledge it, but I always say, don't talk about it. Just stay away from it, because it's a very tricky world. And you know what, guys on Facebook that are listening in, what do you think? We should maybe have this show that we discuss this topic, the black magic, the jinns. It might be quite a deep topic to discuss. And if you could get a scholar on board, I think maybe we should do this topic. So it'll be interesting to see what our listeners on Facebook Live and obviously through the other means think of it. Let us know. Inshallah, we can maybe do this show. But coming back to it, yes, 100% that it is only increasing. It's only increasing that people are keep coming and saying that, this is
how do we combat it? So you know what? In terms of the jinns and all of that, that's just I think that's just more of a cultural kind of thing, But in terms of here, how do we combat all of this mental illness, depression? What's the way? How do we do it? So you can't get away from social media. You can't get away from mobile phone, or can you? Is there a way that you can? No, you can limit things.
I mean, look, it'd be quite good to talk about topics now where you raised it. How do you combat mental health? Basically, how do you make aware that mental health is there?
Is a thing.
And it's not as simple as basically. A simple thing is blame it on black magic or jinn, and basically go and try to find solutions for that, and then you find out nothing's happening, nothing's working. And you go more down, and everyone goes down, everyone starts giving up, and you're going towards a downward spiral. That's not what we want. Obviously, let's put that to one side. And if you looked at in terms of mental health, how do we make people aware of mental health, that they're able to say to, when they look at an individual, to say, okay, it may not be jinn, it may not be black magic, it may be mental health. What is that process? So where can we come in? So obviously Revive FM this week have taken it as as personal thing, as an opportunity, as well as to raise awareness about Mental Health Week. So we're doing our bit to try to talk about it, to try to encourage it, to try to understand it. Even myself, I don't know nothing about it. I'm pretending to be a panelist that I understand about it. I have no idea, but we're obviously trying to explore it together. That's the whole point of what we're sitting here. We're trying to explore a topic together. So we're exploring this. So something came to my head was that what can a radio platform or a religious institution do to make you aware of mental health? So would you say, I mean, in schools, Halim, this is where you come in. Halim, in schools, how are you guys tackling mental health right now? So obviously this week happened. Is it something that it's part of the curriculum that you have to take into account the children's well-being, or how does it get fed into you that mental health is something that you need to be aware of in school? Because that's potentially what we can maybe look to bring in to our madrasa systems, to our mosques, to our institutions, that maybe that's something that we could look into. Halim.
Well, to be honest, if you're working in such an environment, you're always looking out for these sort of things.
Yeah.
And it's a major part of safeguarding at the same time. So, in relation to your question, what are schools doing and what sort of things are implemented in schools? So yeah, it's obviously highlighted to the people working there, or the adults that are working there, and at the same time, it's, you know, the adults are looking out for these sort of symptoms, which I'm sure that, you know, which if one was to go and research, they would be able to find. There's so many different things that relate to mental health. So one of the things that can relate to mental health is, you know, anxiety, depression, and then what happens is, if it's picked up by a certain adult, it's then passed on to the safeguarding team, and then the safeguarding team then does a review on this particular child just to see what's going on, and it's never ever is it brushed under the carpet.
Exactly. So it gets taken very seriously.
It gets taken really seriously. Yeah. You know, there have been times where children have had panic attacks. There've been, you know, I had a case where, you know, a child was basically, you know, cutting themselves.
Wow.
Okay. And that was obvious. That as soon as that was picked up, that had to be passed on to the safeguarding team, and that was made, you know, a major that was seen as a major issue, and that was then looked into, and the families are then looked into to see what, you know, what is going on at home, what is the underlying factor behind this child behaving in such a way. So at the same time, it is, you know, children are made aware of it as well. So like you said, it's Mental Health Week, so there was a mental health assembly done on it. Children are made aware of it, that such a thing exists. So if you think, you know what, you're feeling something, children are encouraged to go and approach an adult and talk to an adult. And if an adult is approached and spoken to, then that has to be looked into. It can't just be brushed under the carpet.
Practically in terms of, you mentioned the teachers. So it goes from the teachers. So let's say you find a child and you think, okay, this is a bit of a concern there. Safeguarding team, safeguarding review, and they seem to find a problem mentally. Yeah. Do they work with the parents then?
Absolutely.
So explain that. How does that process work?
So teachers, if a teacher sees something in class, out of class, wherever, we have in our school, we have this. Our system is that we have this software. It's called the safeguarding software. You log it onto the safeguarding software. Then the relevant members of the safeguarding team are notified. It pops up as a notification that so and so has logged this and it's gone through. They then review it in the safeguarding meeting, or if it's something major, then they act upon it instantly. Parents are then contacted. Home visits are made. And again, I just want to comment on the fact that a lot of the parents from the sub-Indian continent, you know, they are not keen on working with the schools.
Really? So you find this as well?
Yeah.
Do they say, oh no, it's all right, my son's got jinn?
No, they don't actually blame it on the jinn, but what I've noticed is that it's just like, you know, it's just kids being, it's just a child being child. It's just a child being a child. There's nothing. I know my son better than you. I know my daughter better than you. Who are you to basically tell me that my child has this issue? I know my child inside out.
Is that what you get? The proudness, the arrogance.
It's not even. It's part of it is arrogance, and part of it is I think they refuse to accept the fact that there is an issue there. They
with their child.
They refuse to accept that my child has an issue, and that mentality. You know what? No, my child is going to excel. My child is going to, and you're trying to sit there and trying to say, hold on, what we're trying to do for your child here is probably the best thing that can ever come of it. You know, we're trying to help your child.
You've picked it up.
Yeah, we've picked it up.
Yeah,
and you know, shouldn't feel sad about this now.
Yeah,
feel happy that, you know what, it's been picked up.
Let's deal with it now.
And let's deal with it. Let's work together. We want to work with you. But a lot of parents you would find, and it's not actually some you can say are from the African continent as well. Well, be like, no,
We're not interested.
We're not interested.
You know what you mentioned about bringing it into the madrasas.
Yes.
Do you really think that's going to happen? Be
and,
real.
and,
isn't
and if it does
Good
happen,
point. Good point. Now,
and if it does
yes.
happen, do you think the parents that the children that attend the madrasa, their parents, do you think they are going to comply with the madrasa? You know, are they going to?
No, look.
Now,
I'm going to give you an example.
Very
Yeah,
interesting
I'm going to
point.
give you an example. If there's a kid, yeah, he's got 5 to 7 class, yeah, after school, he's depressed for whatever reason. He's sitting on the side. He's thinking about. He's not concentrating on his class. Yeah. What's the person teaching? What is going to be their response? Are they going to start, oh, what's wrong? Everything okay? Or is it going to be, well, there's no backhanders anymore because a lot of mosques know. Yeah, a lot of mosques know that the backhanders come. That's it. Close down.
That's right.
So that's not happening. But
Yeah.
other ways of bullying without, so not physical, but maybe mentally bullying that child.
Absolutely.
So-
You could see now that the topic selected, how it's opening up,
Yeah, it is-
how it's
it is
opening up
open, yeah.
dangers and stereotypes that are there, and it's actually happening, and how dangerous these things can be. You've just mentioned a great example now in terms of the madrasas. I know what you're saying, that instead of helping, there could be more punishing. But then if you look at how they're developing now, so now all madrasas know that you can't hit. You
Yeah.
can't hit a child.
Yeah.
Safeguarding will be on your case. So they all got safeguarding practices in place now. So this is something that they have to do. This is what they have. You know, back in the day, you could never imagine
Yeah.
them having policies.
Of
nothing
course,
like
yeah.
that. We turned up, we knew what was going
Yeah,
down.
that's it.
But obviously, now, policies are in place. They've got to have registers. There's a lot of things that get done, DBS checks and so on. This gets done. So this is the next phase now. They've achieved that. Why is it that they're not looking at the children there and thinking, okay, you know what, for these children to excel, let's start looking at their mental well-being. And if there is a child that's just sitting there
Yeah.
every day and he's not talking, he's not reciting, he's not, he's showing
Yeah.
concerns, he's lonely, he's not making any friends, surely these are signs for them to think, okay,
Yeah.
you know what, me as a scholar,
Yeah.
me as the community leader
Yeah.
needs to sit down with the parents and say, okay, you know what, let's talk.
But all right, you know what? Coming back, are the
Interesting.
scholars, community leaders, are they educated themselves in regards
This
to?
matter.
Yeah.
Very good point. This obviously is taking us really nicely onto a topic that onto an angle that we need to go in. But before I go, Halim, so you mentioned one point.
Yeah, so I just want to add on to your question there, not add on, but like give us a slight response, is that they probably aren't educated to an extent. Even teachers, they don't deal with this sort of matter in depth. This matter is passed on to a team who have the right knowledge to deal with it.
Correct.
So what I thought like is that yes, there needs to, the imams or the madrasa teachers, if they pick it up, there needs to be a team in place in the madrasa that can then go ahead and potentially deal with this matter.
No, but a teacher or the teacher's still going to have a certain amount of knowledge that to actually pick it up in the first place, to know there is a problem.
There is a problem. Yeah, that's key. Because as a teacher,
That's gonna be that's the first point of contact.
I would look at a child and I'll see, right, if this child there's something wrong there. And then there's been times where I've noticed, right, there's a child and there's something wrong there, and it's not, there's nothing going on at school, there's something else, there's an underlying factor there. And then what I've done is I've approached I've approached I forgot the name now. She's part of the safeguarding team, but I've approached someone from the safeguarding team who actually just sits down and talks to a child. Yeah, and then counselling is then put in place and so on and so forth. But definitely, I think that is an issue that madrasa teachers are probably not even looking out for these sort of things.
Oh, of course not. The signs obviously that's quite apparent. Now, in terms of let's look at a few angles. So if you look at, you mentioned scholars, are they trained? Are they even showing interest, or are they able to actually do it?
Yeah.
No, because you look, this is Mental Health Week. How many sermons are that you can go up and down the country right now, and are the scholars addressing mental health? obviously the community looks towards the scholar
Yeah.
to lead the community, right?
Yeah.
So you attend the Jummah khutbah, the message that is given on a Jummah is obviously a key message that you're going to take, and you're going to take that as guidance that, okay, the scholar said this. So if the scholar is not talking about mental health, then obviously going down the chain, the parents, the community, they're not going to assess it as well.
Of course.
And the more you think about it, that are we heading towards parents that it's
just opening up another can of
I know.
worms. That's
Now,
what's-
are we saying potentially that, because obviously the subcontinent, what we're saying is that when they see a problem, they say jinn. When they see a problem, they say black magic.
Yeah.
Are we hinting towards that our parents or the parents of the Muslim community are lazy? You know, because if you look at it, most of them are working 100 hours a week, 70 hours a week, 60 hours a week, big hours. Come home, the father's knackered, so he's not giving time to his child. The mother, she's all day, you know, slugging after the kids, trying to get everything. She's just making sure that their daily routine is fulfilled. And for her to sit down and discuss the mental well-being, she hasn't got time for as well. So are we hinting towards that side where the parents need to push extra to give that time to their child about mental health, you know, whether it's sit down with them an hour a day or so on, to create that window that they're too lazy to do it, or they're in denial to do it, or they have no time to do it? What is it?
No, maybe, you know what,
And the easiest solution is, my bacha feels lonely, this is because it's jinn. So let's just diagnose that. Let's easier solution. Is that,
you know what, this is where, look, the schools are, you know what, the parents do have a certain amount of responsibility as well. But if they're not, but you know what, if they're not educated themselves, yeah, so who's going to educate them? The schools, they've already gone through the schooling system. They've already done that wherever they done it, whether it was here or whether it was back home. That's where you know what, the imams, the mosques, everyone goes to a Jummah, yeah, or majority of people go to a Jummah, whether it's they're taking time off from work or whatever. In them 15-20 minutes, whatever the imam has, even though a lot of people are just in, out, and a lot of people, majority of the people do, but at least them 15-20 minutes, make use of them. Don't just have a lecture about anything just for the sake of it. Just for the sake of it.
It shows you that
it should be more related
Absolutely.
to the people that are attending, more related to them. Yes, we can use many examples from the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but we need to relate them back to our time and how we can do things now. And I don't think that's happening as a whole. There may be some mosques that are doing it, but as a whole, I think it is a massive problem. And that's where we need to, as a community, we need to, I don't know, do we need to speak to our imams? Do we need to push our imams? Do we need to make sure that we have got the right imams in our places? That's something that, as a community, we can do.
Absolutely. I mean, guys, whoever been listening to this discussion, you can see that this area is quite important. And, you know, Brother Was, you could see that you're getting quite, you know, concerned about it as well. So it's good. So you could
when you picked this topic, I was thinking,
what was
this is a
thinking?
bit, yeah,
What was thinking?
but
But
you know what?
see-
There's a lot that's coming out of it now.
Exactly. So the thought of mental health, you know, being educated in mental health, I think the first situation will be is that all of ourselves, the people that are listening out there, understand mental health.
Yeah.
There's plenty of stuff online. Now, when I was printing some stuff off and looking the signs, you know, the symptoms, what parents and what others can do for the person as well. It's all there. There's a lot of stuff that's there. But for yourself now, as a message that the dream team can give to the people out there is educate yourself on it. Become aware of it. Look, this is Mental Health Week. How much did people know that it's actually Mental Health Week? You know, people are too busy worried about, you know, what they can have for iftar than to be worried about, you know, the Mental Health Week. But it's Mental Health Week. So, guys, you know,
Do you think it could also be, I'm talking just as more of a Muslim community, do you think it could be that we're getting further and further away from the deen? Do you think that could be, you know what, when you're basically, so it's not about money.
Yeah.
It's about you're not doing your basics.
Could be.
It's
But
an
that's
aspect.
that's I think that's linked to spiritual well-being.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
just
Exactly.
spiritual, and that probably does tie in.
Don't you think everything's
tie in
linked?
with mental well-being as well. Of course, definitely, and I think that is a major part of it, but that's not the only
That's not going to be the only, of course.
But
of
that
course.
I'd 100% agree with you that is, if that's missing from a believer, then yeah, I think you're definitely not spiritually connected.
But I think, you know what, as generally we need to be clued on. That's what it is.
That's what it is.
Right now,
That's what it is.
I don't think that, you know what, even myself, I've not really looked into it, anything at all.
Absolutely.
But that's when it comes back to, you know what, where are we meant to get our guidance from? Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, it's out there, but yes, 100%, I think, as institutions, mosques and so on, they do play their part as well. Community's still going.
Do
there.
they?
People, yeah, of course. People are going. No, I'm saying they need to play their part.
Oh, okay,
They need to play their part. They're not playing their part
okay,
now, but they need to play their part. And you know what we're saying. We're just giving avenues that potentially can be looked
of
into.
course.
But this discussion needs to happen.
Yeah.
So at present, get yourself aware, and inshallah, you know, hopefully things would fall in place. Guys, as we are coming to the end of our show, final closing messages and challenges and so on. Let's talk about that. So coming back to that.
Whoa.
Let's get that mood back into it. Yeah. So we're hoping that donations are trickling in. Obviously, all we need is
Not trickling
50
in,
people.
flooding in, which they are going to be, inshallah.
Inshallah, they are.
So the challenge,
What is the
inshallah,
challenge?
Sunday, this Sunday, the date's going to be the
19th.
at 6 p.m.
Yes.
So during fasting, when
Yep.
everyone's going to be fasting, everyone's going to be relaxing, everyone's going to have their Facebook live on,
That's it.
everyone's going to have their YouTube
I
live
wish
on,
they could
and
have
they're all
popcorn
going to
and watch
be
me suffer, isn't it? But they can't.
yeah, and in the other hand, they'll have their phone making their donations as well. So
Inshallah ta'ala.
and see Muz.
Suffer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Hashtag was to suffer. That's what's
That's
going
it.
around now. So yes, this is the key. Revive FM. That's what it's all about. We need to get those donations in. The sooner they come in, the better. Look, regardless of what's going to happen, it looks like I am going to get, you know.
You're gonna do the look,
pasting.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
get
yeah,
pasting.
yeah.
So yeah, bring it on, inshallah. But get those donations in, get the support in. We're gonna make this happen, inshallah. To let everyone know, hopefully, fingers crossed, there's drive time tomorrow with Mubin Hussein from 5 o'clock. We also have debate night.
Debate night. What's the day today? Thursday. Yeah,
tomorrow
I just
night.
said-
Tomorrow night.
Yeah, tomorrow night. So
Yes.
tomorrow midnight. Debate night as well.
Debate night,
We don't
so-
know what the topic's going to be. It's going to be.
I mean, you know,
everyone's
after
going to find out. Yeah.
After last week, you know, his epic show last week that he did about Moon Wars, people are still debating it now.
Yeah.
People are still debating it now. People are still phoning me up and saying, oh, this, that. And you think, you know, he basically, you know,
There was a
he
lot.
created a good debate.
Yeah, there was a lot to learn from that. I picked up a lot of
Absolutely,
knowledge from
absolutely.
that.
So-
You know what? Just going to go to a couple of messages.
Yes, go for it.
Amjad, he just said, "Good luck, Muz," which you're definitely you're definitely going
I
to need
definitely
it.
need all the
yeah,
love
yeah.
and du'as. I'm just forget the good luck, bro. Please make some dua for me, man. Maybe if I collapse, we can blame it on a jinn or something.
That's it, bro. That's it. Zahid Haq, salam to you all. Wonderful show. Keep up the excellent work, brother Omar. Wonderful and humble human being, always approachable, even at the hardest of times. So, alhamdulillah.
Yeah, 100%. That's
Juradia, assalamu alaikum, brothers. Wa assalam. That's it, bro. That's it. Easy one.
fair enough. Sounds good.
And-
Sounds good. But yeah, as obviously future shows. So yeah, Friday we've got the debate night. Friday drive time with Mubin.
Yeah.
Obviously other shows throughout the day. Abdul Malik's Health Hour as well. So we're looking forward to all these different shows. Keep an eye on the Facebook page. Go on our Facebook page, like it, contribute towards it, share it. This is the way that you're going to get Revive FM's message out there, and hopefully one day create a voice, become a voice. That's what Revive FM is all about, inshallah. So without any further delay, inshallah, we're going to be back next week with our drive time. Hopefully
Inshallah,
from
we're gonna.
Friday.
You know what? First of all, we're gonna be back on Sunday.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Back on
Sunday,
Sunday, try to avoid
you're gonna
that,
see. Yeah, you know what? You're gonna. Muz isn't going away for another week and disappearing. He's gonna be back on Sunday. He's gonna
Yep.
be doing the challenge, inshallah.
Brilliant.
We're gonna watch him suffer.
Yeah, at 6 p.m. We'll be here at the studio watching him suffer, and you know what? Laughing. That's how it's
Brilliant,
gonna
brilliant.
be,
The
bro.
dream team's going to be here. They're
gonna
going to
be
be. They're
here.
going to be here, locked and loaded. Half the dream team, or two of the dream team members, will be here raising the funds, while the other one is there, you know, suffering,
Doing what he needs to do.
Do what he needs
That's
to
it,
do.
yeah.
So yeah. We need a massive push, guys. We need a massive push. If we're going to make this happen, this $5 happen, we need you guys to get out there, start assembling. It's only going to take 50 people to contribute £100 each.
£100.
That's it. That's it. Everyone's, you know, during the month of Ramadan, donating. This is a great cause.
It's going to be multiplied as well. Any donation that inshallah anyone's going to make during this month of Ramadan, it's going to be multiplied. Absolutely. I don't know how many times.
Absolutely. Guys, once again, thank you for listening to Drive Time with the Dream Team. I'm actually feeling the rosa right now. I'm feeling knackered right now. Do you feel a little bit knackered?
You know what? At the start of the show, I felt a bit knackered.
I've been
feeling much better now. I'm feeling much
like
better.
He's actually got more.
You know what? At the start of the show, I was like a bit drained, and you know what?
Yeah.
Now, alhamdulillah.
Usually start the show is the same, but I was in. But now I'm just feeling like I'm struggling to get the sentences together.
I'm all good, bro.
That's me for a while.
Get ready. Make sure that doesn't happen.
It must be that fruit and fiber, isn't it? So yeah, alhamdulillah, that's what it is. Oh, we forgot to do a competition. There's supposed to be a competition today as well. But inshallah, we will carry on with that competition as well. Keep an eye on the Revive FM Facebook page. More competitions, more prizes will be launched there as well. Keep listening. Inshallah, we will be back very soon. So this Sunday, inshallah, keep up to date with everything. Inshallah, this is it from the Revive FM. Dream Team.
Dream Team. I say English today, bro. What's going on?
Yeah, what's going on?
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. Guys, take care. Have a great iftar. Take care. Assalamu.
My heart is in Medina. My